35 years ago, we made history by marching in the first ever Long Island Pride Parade. We had to go to court just to be visible in our own communities and hometowns here on Long Island. And we're going to tell that story today. And here we are, still marching, still fighting, still building something that belongs to all of us on Long Island. We're 3 of the 4 co-founders of Long Island Pride, and today we're looking back and speaking out. Back in 1991, I mean, we all met each other, you know, through a shared purpose, right, of wanting to have the first ever Pride Parade here in our hometown. And, you know, let's share that story, because I think it's real important for folks to know that it just didn't happen, right? It just didn't come out of the blue. So what do you guys remember about that?
You know, you guys weren't there because it was an all-women's party in the summer of 1990. And we were sitting around, like, you know, talking about how excited we were to go to the Pride Parade in the city. But, you know, we wanted something also for us here in our communities. And we decided, some of the women that were sitting there, you know, let's see if there's interest, and, you know, I mean, how hard could it be? So we sent out some mailers to local businesses to gauge interest, and one of our members, Kara, reached out to you, Steve, so why don't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Kara worked at the Brookhaven National Lab, and we had mutual friends, and Kara called me. And I was chair of the first, at the time, trans was not included in the in the wording, the first Gay and Lesbian Political Action Committee on Long Island called SURFPAC. And she said, Steve, has there ever been a Pride Parade on Long Island? And I said, no. And she said, do you think we could have one? I says, yes, let's do one. We need it. And so that started the ball rolling, and it was so exciting that we actually we're going to have this. But then we didn't realize all the opposition we would face.
Right.
We contacted every township on Long Island looking for a place to have this Pride Parade. One township, the town of Hempstead, said yes, we could have it in a deserted industry court on a Sunday. And we said, no, we're not doing that. Huntington really was just, it wasn't that we were focused on Huntington, but it was getting closer and closer. It was our last, and we thought, no, we are going to stand and fight. And what killed me was the highway commissioner, who
William Norton.
Yeah, who said no. These were all Democrats, and I thought the Democratic Party was the party of inclusion, and you're turning us away. And we had to go to federal court. And we thought the odds were against us, because we were told, if you step off the curb without that permit, you're going to be arrested. Mm-hmm. And we all said in our group, we will be arrested. Yep. And we got the approval that week just before the Pride Parade. And there was no internet, no cell. We didn't know how to get the word out quick enough. We got the permit. And people came, many who did not know we had gotten the permit, that we won in court, and were on the sidelines, and then they were cheering like crazy because they realized, you know, this was very David and Goliath, like, you know, and David, you were the David, and we, you know, and we did slay Goliath. We won something we never thought we would win.
Do you remember I don't remember his name, the police chief, because after the parade went off, you know, they really wanted to protect our safety.
Yes, they did.
Do you remember they had snipers up on
snipers on the roof?
Yes, I said, Leah and I, Kara was on my right and Leah was on my left, and I said to Leah, oh my God, there's SWAT teams on the roof. People going to try to kill us? Our adrenaline was so high, honest to goodness, I think the 4 of us could have lifted a bus off the ground.
We could have, it was amazing.
It was so, and as we turned from New York Avenue to 25A, there were the protesters. But it was just, I can't describe it. Seeing SWAT teams and knowing we're on that front line, are people going to try to kill us? And that's what I said to you. Are people going to try to kill us?
I think it was an abundance of caution on the part of the police.
Yes, I was glad.
You know? Yeah,
I was glad.
And I don't know if you remember this, but we decided to send him a fruit basket. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, the most appropriate gift we could have sent.
It was June. Fruit was in season at that time.
Yes, it was appropriate.
A bunch of fruits. So there you go. Yeah.
You know, it was Judge Wexler that ruled for
us.
Right. Judge Wexler
in
in federal court. And I remember a bunch of us were sitting there that day when they ruled for us, and when they ruled that we can actually have the right to march. I mean, because that's what we were fighting for. In fact, didn't the town of Huntington, they put it in writing, and they suggested that, they said, we don't want, I mean, in other words, but these words really, non-traditional parades, right? And they suggested that we go march in the St. Patrick's Day parade. But I'll never forget that day sitting in court, you know, when we won, and we were, all of us, determined to march no matter what, whether we were going to get arrested or not. And I remember hearing from a lot of community members, that we all did, that, you know, like you said, they were willing to come down and watch us get arrested.
Yes.
But, you know, that's what it takes. I mean, you know, when you have, I believe, you know, and I'll never forget that time with all of us together. And for me, it really was, you know, this is really what I wanted to do, because that sense of activism, you know, whether we won or not, I mean, I'm glad we did, obviously,
Yeah.
but whether we won or not, it was fighting for our rights.
Right.
Right? And
Right.
that,
And here we are again.
here we are,
Yes,
35 years later.
yes, yes,
But-
history
Here
is
we are.
repeating
And
itself.
here we are again in this.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, I remember that day is actually, I think, the most elated I have ever been in my life. Because of what we were facing, the odds we were facing, the fact that we actually were able to, you know, go to court and have our day. I was astounded to know that the impact was that far-reaching into, like, time-wise. You know, how many people are still impacted by the parade. And, you know, and its impact on our community.
The visibility that finally we could walk down the street with our heads held high, and we had the right, we won the right, we fought for the right to do that. And I get emotional. The two greatest days of my life were my wedding and the parade. And I thought I would never live to see the day that I would see either one of them. We did this, and it wasn't easy. We had to fight for all of this. And we were fighting up until '91. So many, at the time, gay men dropping left and right from AIDS. A government that didn't do squat to help us. We were considered nothing. And we thought this was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it was a crumb. And that's all we were getting in society, was crumbs, when we were entitled to the same exact treatment that everyone else had and took for granted.
Everything we have, we've had to fight to win, right? And so kind of taking a look at where we are today now, right, which is not in a good place, yet still we've made a lot of progress over the years. I've heard from some people to say, you know, why do I really need to come to Pride? Why do I need to come to Long Island Pride?
There is too much to lose for all of us, all of our rights, not just the marriage equality, but all of our rights. And we have to be vigilant now. And it was a wake-up call for many of us older gay and lesbian LGBTQ people like myself. I mean, I was almost 35 when we did the first Pride Parade in '91. Next month I'll be 70.
Wow.
I won't be here in 35 years. The things that we fought so hard for are going to be taken away from us like that. And it's the younger people who now we, as older people, are looking towards to say, please, we fought so hard. Please, you need to take up the sword now and fight, because many of us are getting too old to do this. Pride is not necessarily, look at me, I'm fabulous. Pride is, I'm telling you, I demand a seat at the table whether you want me there or not. I'm not going to be made to feel insignificant or small. I'm going to be proud of myself, and you're not going to get in, I'll be respectful of you, but you're not going to stop us from being proud of ourselves. I deserve a seat at that table, whether you like it or not, and I'm going to fight for that. And that to me is really the essence of Pride. Seeing all that our community has gone through and is going through, I see the importance of Long Island Pride. We have a right to be here.
Right.
And
it's asking for what we deserve.
What we deserve.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less, right?
So I'm so thankful that we will be all marching on this coming Sunday,
We will.
and proudly.
That one time, the first time I felt really empowered in my life to be able to fight for something that we deserve. I remember the next day, I went to get a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, right, on on Monday morning, the day after the parade. I said, let me pick up Newsday. And to see that cover, Gay Pride, with all of us on there marching like this, I was just so excited. I got it, I'm in my car, I backed out, and I hit another car, and I didn't care.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie, oh well, I didn't care, because that was...
It's okay, we had our parade.
We won.
Yes.
We won. We won the right to just be. Yeah, so if you take a look here, right, just imagine, right, this just didn't happen. 3,000, what does it say, 3,000 homosexual parade?
Yes.
Yes.
3,000 watch Long
800
Islanders
march.
first a homosexual parade, yeah.
Yeah,
Most
Amazing.
applaud, a few heckle.
yeah.
Yeah.
I went into 7-Eleven that morning to get,
Yeah.
and I saw it, and I was like shaking. Oh my God! Like, you know, we're on the cover.
On the cover, it was just amazing. And we created Long Island Pride so that every single person, no matter what, you know, what geographic town you lived on, what county, what age you were, what identity, etc., you know, would have a place to feel a sense of pride, no matter where we live, learn, work, play, or break across Long Island. And so I think that is, we have to not wait for someone to do something for us. We have to be the representation. We have to build the power within the community and look out for one another. Pride is a protest, right? Pride, oh, thank you.
Yes.
That's a perfect
Pride
word.
started with protest.
Pride started with protest,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, and there's nothing wrong with having joy either, but that joy fuels the protest that needs to continue the next day. So yes, we gotta laugh, we gotta dance, we gotta
Yeah,
do all
I mean,
that
and
stuff.
that,
Yeah.
you cannot say that very first Pride Parade was not joyful.
Oh my
It
Oh, God,
was.
yes.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
it was a
It's
protest.
a
Yes.
huge
It
protest.
was defiance and it was joyful. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think all of us.
And we had so much fun doing it.
Right. But when we walked, like David
And
said,
tears,
we
but,
walked
yeah.
on to New York Avenue,
Yeah.
off of the little side
Unbelievable.
street.
Yeah.
That the adrenaline, also from seeing the SWAT teams, but the adrenaline
But also
was
seeing
so.
from the people.
Yes.
The people,
yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
And to realize that we did it.
Yeah,
We did it,
Yeah.
and I'm so thankful
yeah,
to have been part of that.
yeah,
It's
me too. Yeah.
once in a lifetime thing that we all really truly lucked out and had our hand in it, and
And found each other. So I hope there's other Steve, Leah, Kara, and Davids across Long Island that are going to find each other right now to really see the purpose of activism. I wouldn't really be sitting here today or have devoted a career to, building an LGBTQ organization if it wasn't really being with you, both of you, and Kara, and really feeling that sense of power and that sense of community, and really that drive and the love that we had, to be able to do this. So I want to thank both of you, and I want everyone to remember. Well, I may get a lot of attention for what I do now, but that the reason why we're here today is because of Steve Heneghan, Leah Gustavson, and Kara Wilson, and countless other volunteers that did help us as well. And let's keep that history going, that legacy going, and be at Long Island Pride, not only for the 35th year, this Sunday, June 8th, but for the 36th year, 37th year, 38th year, 39th year, and so on, the second Sunday of June. Second Sunday of June, mark that in your calendars, because you know what, we have to take back the power,
Yes.
and we do that through doing what we did back in 1991.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
thank you.
wonderful. Wonderful.
It's been
Should we
great to
hug?
see you guys.
Yes. Oh, very tinky winky.
Yay. Excellent.